So for the next half of the session, what we're going to do is we're going to break out into subgroups. And after a short break, I think we have about 10 minutes actually. So if we could take a 10-minute break, we will reconvene, and Colin and I will talk a little bit about, and Illyriana will talk a little bit about how the subgroups are going to work and how we're going to get this all into a report when all's said and done. So thanks to all the speakers this morning, and I hope to be hearing more from them in the near future. Residential, office space, and classroom space are very similar in the way that they're going to be approached because it's a space type subgroup. For commuting, travel, and fleet efficiency, and master planning and infrastructure, those two are going to be a little different because the sources of emissions are not as broad as the other three categories. The purpose of setting up residential, office space, and classroom space is to be able to engage users of these particular types of spaces so that they have better insight into where these emissions might be coming from and where they best might be reduced. So as I mentioned, subgroups really are a construct to sort of put your mind around where emissions are coming from and where solutions might come from. In the middle of the spring, these subgroups will sort of morph into what we haven't even really named it, but what I call solution groups, which will focus on particular source solutions. So for example, purchased electricity. What are the potential solutions to reduce purchased electricity? Natural gas. What are the potential solutions for reducing natural gas through heating and hot water? So after you get yourself into these subgroups and you start brainstorming sources of emissions and solutions, after that point, the core planning committee will gather all of that feedback up and basically, make sure there's no duplicates and put them into the source categories. So what are the sources of emissions for each type, each source of emissions? At that time, we're going to ask additional subject matter experts to come in and help us look at the potential solutions and also to help us define funding solutions and timelines for each of the solutions that look the most promising. And we'll be working on the Climate Action Planning report, and that should be finished over the summer. So what I would like to do is introduce you to Illyriana Mushkova. And she is going to tell you a little bit about what the CAP report is going to look like and how your contributions to each subgroup will fit in that report.
the process of working on the climate action plan. We will start with, of course, executive summary, introduction. Then we'll go into background of global climate change. In the background, we will include a subsection on the impacts of climate change in George Mason University, a little bit on international climate treaties, some current federal policies on climate change, Commonwealth of Virginia, as well as Washington Metropolitan Area initiatives and George Mason initiatives on climate change. We will then introduce the targeted timeline for achieving climate change neutrality. You will tell us how aggressive we will be in this timeline. We will next continue. I'm sorry, I forgot the emissions, the most important part. We have right after the background, we'll talk about emissions. We already have the GHG inventory. We will have a section on the GHG inventory, and hopefully we will link to the report. The GHG inventory will help us set the baseline. Then after the baseline, we will have projections of emissions in the future. We will have several scenarios, the business as usual scenario, as well as other scenarios as, we together decide. Then comes the timeline for achieving climate neutrality. Next, we would discuss emission reduction opportunities and costs. This will include technical policy and behavioral solutions for each emission source, as well as financials that will be needed to achieve those reductions. We would probably also include some other programs that will help achieve those reductions, such as community outreach, and also probably recommend some innovative academic programs that will increase awareness in campus and more broadly. And in the end, we have the conclusions of the report. Thank you. And it will be next breakout in groups.
So I'm going to ask Colin to help us help present what the goals are for the subgroups, and then we're going to break out into the 5 teams, or the 5 subgroups, and get started on our work.
All right, so everybody has their subgroup descriptions yet, so you should, yes, so you should have an idea of which subgroup that you want to be a part of. But what we're essentially going to do is break up into little parts, different parts of the room. You see the easels spread out. So there's 5 groups, 5 easels. So essentially we don't want everybody or a preponderance of people in one group and not the other. So if you don't have a really specific reason to be in one, and you see another group that needs some folks in it, then please try to populate that group. So what you'll do when you get to the group, among other things, is you'll have this sheet of paper. Your subgroups are going to need to be, obviously, besides today. So you're going to have to figure out your availability. So this sheet should help you do that. Essentially what you're going to do is write the times that you're available as opposed to unavailable, so your subgroup lead can try to coordinate a time where everybody can meet, or at least the majority of you can meet. Then on the back of this sheet that was holding up is your contact information. So your subgroup lead can be able to contact you, like I said, and coordinate it. What we've already done is we've set up some Google groups or lists that your groups can use to communicate amongst each other. So with this information that you fill out, the subgroup lead can just add you directly to that list and you'll be able to communicate. And then finally, unless I'm forgetting something, but I don't think I am, you're actually going to be doing some work. Back on the table, I don't think you have these documents yet, but there's these fishbone diagrams, so named because they look similar to a without its flesh. Yeah, attached. In any case, Dr. Dan's holding one up as well. What we're going to do is we are going to fill out the diagram based on these different categories, and they'll make more sense when you see them, but essentially they're purchase electricity, heating and hot water, cooling, and then there's another one. And then there's other categories for other that we might not have thought of. But we're going to come up with the causes of emissions based on each of those categories, and then eventually get to solutions. So the whole point is that yes, we're doing work, but also we want to be having fun. So we don't want to take it I mean, obviously we're talking about the fate of our planet here, but we don't want to take it too seriously where we all get really sad and depressed and don't want to do anything. So have fun, like it says on the slide.
So I would like to introduce you to your subgroup facilitators. I don't think that all the class people are here today, but Illyriana and Leslie, if you wouldn't mind facilitating the residential group, pick a corner. And so anybody interested in residential, please find, could you guys stand up? Please find, this is Illyriana and that's Leslie over there. For the transportation piece, we have Natasha over here. And I don't think Vivek is here today, but Rob will be also in that group helping with transportation. For office space, I think Dan, you're the only one, Dr. Dan, that's actually here. So pick a corner and Dan will be, if you're going to be working on office space, Dan will be your facilitator. For classrooms, we have, let me see, Maheen, that's here, and Danielle are going to be facilitating for the classroom space. And then finally for master planning, which I think most of you are from the facilities area, I'll be working with you guys. It's going to be a little bit different for master planning. So get to it. We will reconvene at, I believe, 4 o'clock to talk about what we've all come up with, and then I actually brought some organic cookies for you to eat.
It's all kind of conjecture. So we had a couple of ideas that we came up with. One of the basic ones is what are we building and why, and are we really looking at how the existing space is being used and thinking through what we really need, and how do we make these alternative energy sources part of the master planning process, how do we plan more energy towards the buildings up front, and then we talk about the LEED processes. If you're familiar with, you know that you can kind of cherry pick your LEED credits. So we came up with maybe we should have a GMU standard where some of these credits you don't get to blow off and pick the low-hanging fruit, but you have certain ones that you think need to be in place. Innovative energy management policies, what that one was related to. Baseline data about the buildings, their efficiency before we kind of try to reduce our impact, so we know that we can make a difference. We publish the electricity consumption of each of the buildings on campus, and then go on if we're trying to reduce it. Then we have a baseline, we know that we've done something.
I think the innovative energy management policies one was around, you know, what can we build into process or into technology that will, you know, do things like turn off hallway lights when it's midnight, or, you know, when it's a holiday, or
Right, to take the human factor out and rely a little bit more on technology. Let's see, the utility master plan needs to be given priority during master planning. The funding for some of these things that you invest in, energy efficiency, you don't get your payback right away kind of thing. So convincing people that, you know, prices will go up again, you might get your payback sooner. No channel to communicate possible solutions. Oh, the energy hotline is just a little bit off, but if you see something that you think on campus that's an energy waste or something that, you know, is there a hotline or some easy place to report it or something will actually deal with it and not have to kind of call facilities, you know, you need to talk to this person, you need to talk to that person, like that. And then how do we incorporate waste recycling into master planning?
for our master plan, we start talking about native landscaping, and we have beds of English ivy here, which is an exotic invasive, and facilities doesn't have the manpower to go out and dig this stuff out, but there might be student groups that would do some of this stuff. We could model some of these things that we could have, and give them credit for the renovation hit list. It isn't always set up to where the one that you get the most bang for the one recycling is the next one up the back. It's this other process that brings the renovations up to into play. So maybe that needs to be changed. The health considerations, I don't recall what exactly.
Well, we kind of, I'm a little embarrassed because I actually used to be a process engineer for GMU. We totally went down the rabbit hole of solutions on some of these. So we're just supposed to be focusing on problems and sources of problems, but some of these things we were talking about really started delving into what could some of the solutions be. So health considerations was one of the indoor air quality, access to natural space, view of natural space. We were talking about green roofs, and these are all non-quantifiable benefits financially speaking, but in terms of people's productivity and happiness, and it's all very important. But we couldn't help ourselves. We started talking about some solutions, and so
The fun part. Natural lighting, smart sighting, kind of self-explanatory. And we had this idea about these renovations, the really ancient buildings that are really nobody wants to be class in. We have students vote, put up jars, $1 a vote the building off the campus. This would be the one that gets torn down and renovated. And a lot of people would have very strong opinions about which one that should be. Or maybe get some competition going with the votes there and use the money to buy some high bulbs to provide something that might raise for that. And then how do we use more of our own internal resources to install, upgrade, and build? Because we have a highly trained staff of electricians and carpenters and a lot of facilities people, but a lot of things get contracted out. So this outside company does it, and maybe it could be done for less with Mason's in-house people by reassigning or
master planning is a little different than the other suburbs because it's going to be focusing on just setting new policies in place that encourage energy efficiency and sustainability rather than space specific. So this is more about a high level campus work. So who wants to go next?
Our group is the residential group. So basically, we were talking about the different buildings that are residential areas, both on and off campus, that are controlled by the university. So initially, what we started thinking of is people who are living in the residential areas, students, and the things. Am I not loud enough, like without that, or do I need that? Okay, sorry. So as far as the students, we started talking about things that they bring into the university, as far as appliances, things that people bring in, microwaves, mini fridges, computers, different lighting, fans, space heaters, things of that nature, and how people need things plugged in, if they can be provided with different options as far as how they can be using those appliances effectively. Then we also thought about what the things that the university provides for the students, and those are different standards amongst different building areas. And we broke it down into 6 major areas that the university uses. So in certain areas, they have full kitchens with stoves, microwaves, refrigerators, dishwashers, and other areas have one of those things or none. So just looking at the different areas and how the energy is being used and provided for the students to be used. So that was most of the things that fell under electricity for us. Then we had another subsection of heating and hot water, and those are basically university choices. The students have some control in different buildings where they can set the AC setting or set the heat setting but there's an overall building control that's set by the university. Communal bathrooms where it's shared amongst all the students, where other rooms have individual bathrooms and showers. So we were talking about the occupancy levels and how that could have an effect. If you can get more students into one room, then effectively each person's use will lower. And then we got into the nitty-gritty of the actual residential buildings, whether the windows are fitting a certain standard, the insulation, if there's an opportunity for solar paneling or a solar power lease agreement or things of that nature. So those were just the initial causes that we discussed, and definitely are planning on doing more research into the details of all
I just want to, somebody else volunteer in the interim, but I just want to remind everybody that when you're looking at potential solutions, definitely look at ones that span all of these areas. You know, if you, and Kristen did talk about a couple of them, but things like, gee, wouldn't it be nice if all of our windows were triple glazed, or whatever the solution might be. It may be at, you know, a level that you don't think you can influence with your subgroup, but that's not true. I mean, we're going to take all these potential solutions, wrap them together, figure out which ones are umbrella solutions for the whole campus versus ones that would fit in these spaces, okay? So definitely don't feel shy about suggesting big things like, you know, we should have a cogeneration plan on campus. That's my cause of the week. So things like that, definitely think big. I encourage you to think big. So have transportation next, or this is Natasha.
Transportation is one of the most difficult things to handle because we don't have very much data to work with. We don't know how many students are coming on campus, whether they're using just one car or they carpooling or they're using any other mode of transportation. So it's a little difficult. We have certain people in the group who are working. One of us is working in the parking and transportation department. One is working in the climate communications department. So we have a lot of resources on our team. So we have identified a couple of causes that you know, a couple of root causes, and which are the student cars, which are one source of emissions, and we have categorized them as you know, part-time students and full-time students, and the residential students. So we have to take into account how much they're traveling to come to campus. And also we have included shuttles as another source of greenhouse gas emissions, and staff and faculty cars, and the fleet that we have to you know, bring stuff on campus, or any other use, you know, for campus purposes. Then we have the major source of emissions in transportation is the plane trips and the train trips. So we don't have a lot of data on you know, the number of trips that the faculty and the staff are taking usually, but we'll be working, you know, with the data that we have and coming up with solutions. And then we looked at certain you know, programs that we could use, like having a bike program, and having a bike program on campus where we could you know, have kind of like there'd be rental bikes on campus, so you could just come, you could swipe your card and put a bike, you know, go, and then there'd be different centers, so you could just put your bike on some other center and pick up another bike, something like that we could work out. And also we could have you know, incentives for people to carpool, not just travel alone in the car. You know, there is a site called the Go Loco. Very few of us know about Go Loco. It's a site where you can find a partner. So depending on your schedule, whether you come Monday or Tuesday or Monday or Wednesday, you could put in your information that you could find a partner, and you could come to the parking department, you know, have kind of a parking permit, and you could get special lots incentives to reduce such emissions. We could also have a better service in commuter shuttles. Connect the commuter bus to places where we find more students coming in, and some of us will take them taking the bus instead of taking the car. And I think Rob will talk to you more about the slugs, because I'm not very sure. But they have a slug system for people commuting to DC. I don't know how that works, but there are a lot of behavioral changes that are anticipated, and we just have to see how we can have people make that change to stop, to give up some of the convenience of taking your own car and going anytime, and instead take a public transport.
I again heard a lot of solutions there. I'm guilty, so I can't totally flay anybody for that. I would really like to see more root cause analysis around, we know what the sources are for transportation emissions. Rather, why? Why is a student choosing to drive by themselves rather than carpooling? Or because a lot of these programs are available, some public transportation is available. So, for the transportation group, I would strongly encourage you to go, talk to Bob Tennant, the transportation coordinator, but also please talk to your peers and also to various faculty and staff to figure out, just get the word on the street. Why are people not carpooling? Why are they not taking public transportation? Some people may be coming from where public transportation is totally unavailable directly to Mason. Somebody lives down Route 123 and they're telling me there's nothing that's available for them to come here. So they have no option but to drive. So start on the sheet that we gave you, the fish bones, it says, dig down into, ask why many times. Why are students driving? Why are faculty driving? Why, so before you head into solutions, you have to know what the actual problem is, or else the solution won't fit the problem. So I encourage you to really look, deeper into behavior for transportation on why, why people are choosing what they're choosing. Okay. We have electricity. Is that what that says? Which group is this here? Office space. Do you guys want to do office space?
Okay, so we had office and auxiliary space. Our group was headed up by Dr. Dan, and some of the things that were in our group were purchased electricity, heating and hot water, and cooling, and what we thought could be some of the greatest usages of these three categories. What we came up with was, in purchased electricity was equipment, and in that we kind of grouped a lot of different things in, including personal TVs, AV equipment, microphones, all personal electronics that people might have in their offices, clocks, lamps, iPods, chargers, etc. The second thing we thought might be some of the biggest usage of purchased electricity was computer usage. Office light was another big cause of purchased electricity, we thought. And then the fourth thing we thought was probably one of the biggest in the budget was heating and air conditioning. Under heating and hot water, we chose the following four categories as where a lot of that might be more expensive for Mason under heating and hot water categories. Faucets, vacuum faucets were one. What we referred to as heating the great outdoors due to leaky seals in doors and windows. Just the general heating of the buildings themselves, and the food service group. Under cooling, the four that we thought might be the biggest expense would be food storage, computer servers, air conditioning, and again, cooling the great outdoors due to inefficient heating and cooling of seals in windows and doors in the office buildings. Those are our top.
Number 4, vending machines. A lot of the vending machines have the light in front of them that's always on continuously. Also, we were debating whether we should have cans instead of plastic bottles. That was more policy related. And then lighting, we should have timers or sensors in all the classrooms, which was technical, policy, or behavioral. And number 6 was a big one, exercise equipment. Every exercise equipment, like the treadmill and stuff like that, have their own LCDs or TVs. A lot of people, after using the equipment, don't turn those off. So we were thinking maybe we should take those, well, that comes under policy as well. We have to figure out if we bought those or not, and try to get bigger LCDs, like 3 big ones at one gym, you know. And then the film for arts, I think it was like heating the artwork. I'm not really too familiar with that one. Number 8, fume hoods for laboratories. We thought that was under policies. Number 9, cleaning laboratory supplies was technical and policy. Copy machines, we thought fell under office and auxiliary, so we just wanted to point that out. If they can go into sleep mode or unplug them. And also laptops, which are behavioral for students. A lot of my classmates, I've seen they bring in their laptops and they plug in their laptop to recharge it. And if we could do something about that.
Well, that was an excellent start to our climate action planning. We're wrapping up now, but I would encourage you to sign up for it. If you haven't signed the sign-in sheet for your group, make sure you put your information in there. We're going to need you guys to start setting up meetings every other week. It's, whatever time you want to meet for however long you need to meet. If you can get all the tasks done without meeting every 2 weeks, God bless you, and good for you. You will get contacted by the core planning committee so that we can make sure that you are getting everything you need and that you're basically keeping up with the time schedule, because we do need to finish up with this probably at the end of March in terms of developing solutions for these areas. So I actually have class to go to, but we can do some questions and answers, and if there's other things.
I'm going to make an announcement that the outputs from this session today are actually going to feed into the class next week. So there's been no pause in our activity. As soon as you walk out, another group, which includes about half the class has been in the room with us today, so the other half could make decisions. So we're going to take these and take it to the next step and try to connect them with some of the solutions you came up with. And if you'd like to participate in that in real time, it's an open door classroom on 4:30s every other Wednesday. So next Wednesday, not tomorrow, but a week later, in Science and Technology 126. If I'm in the room, it's right room, 126. 126 at 4:30s every other Wednesday, except over spring break. You're welcome to come in for all the time or part of the time, in addition to whatever your working groups are doing. And that's where we'll synthesize this stuff together across working groups. Thank you.
You're actually going to have a lot more participants you should have a lot more participants in your groups as you go along, because this is only about a third of the people that responded and said that they wanted to and were able to participate. So, don't feel like your little groups that you had, that's it. Danielle and I and Colin will be following up with all of the volunteers to make sure that we put that in a subgroup, and they will all be added to your Google groups so that you can all start scheduling meetings. Do you have any questions for me or for any of the core planning committee? The contact info is on your agenda. Please let us know.